Nigerian literary giant and Nobel Laureate Wole Soyinka has come forward to reveal why his US visa was recently revoked. According to him, it was not just bureaucracy at work. The 91-year-old icon, famous for his sharp wit and fearless criticism of those in power, told journalists at a press conference in Lagos that he believes the decision is directly tied to his long-standing criticism of Donald Trump. Speaking with a mix of humor, frustration, and quiet defiance, the man who earned Africa its first Nobel Prize in Literature accused the Trump administration of political retaliation. Could it be that even in the so-called land of the free, freedom of speech has become a punishable offense? The situation carries a striking irony when one remembers that back in 2017, after Trump's first inauguration, Soyinka famously destroyed his US green card in protest and has since been relying on temporary visas for his visits to the United States. Here is Soyinka explaining how he received a message asking him to bring his passport to the embassy for scrutiny, and how he eventually shut the door on getting his US visa issues sorted because of the current treatment of foreigners in America.
Some American citizens visiting me, they came for the Badagry Door of Return Festival, and from there they came to visit in Abeokuta. I wasn't there, but they were made at home and they were able to go around the place and even have some palm wine. So to begin with, at the beginning I said, could it be that they're angry that I'm hosting their citizens just when they're reconsidering, or they've invited me to bring in my visa for reconsideration? I don't know how many of you read or saw the press statement which I made at the time when I received a letter. We're going back now, 2 weeks before this letter, when I received a letter asking me to bring back my passport because certain facts may have come up since the visa was issued. And I was given a date to report at the consulate with my passport. I declined the invitation. First of all, I didn't like the date. Everybody knows what happened on that date, November 11, many years ago. So it was rather unfortunate that they picked that date. And I said, sorry, I'm superstitious. I'm not coming on that date. And then ultimately, I made it clear I was also not going to apply for another date to bring in my passport. So I left, I traveled out. When I came back, or even before I came back, I got a letter from the ambassador. I received this letter in which he informed me that he was away when that letter was sent, and that if I would please give him a call, he would try and explain the circumstances and so on and so forth. When I came back again, I got a letter, a reminder that I should call him. So I called. We arranged a call meeting. I think it was 4 o'clock about a week ago. And he explained, and again he offered a special visit by me. I'd be received by the consul, and then they would ask a few questions about the possible facts which existed that they didn't know about when this visa was issued. He spoke, and he spoke frankly, and I said, shall I be equally frank with you? I'm not interested. It has nothing to do with me personally. It has to do with the treatment which I know, the brutal, cruel, and often unbelievable treatment being meted out to strangers, immigrants, even in some cases, permanent residents which of course include quite a number of Nigerians. I know of a number of Nigerians who were turned back, who live in the United States, who've lived there all their lives. Some of them have businesses, they have grown-up children, families who are even citizens of our country, but who just left in the normal way to visit home, and then found at the airport they weren't allowed to get on that plane. Because in the meantime, either their visas were under examination or had in fact been revoked, but they were not allowed to go back there, etc., etc. I don't want to run into the... You all know what's been going on. It's all over the media. You have friends, you have families there. So I said, it's not about me. I'm not really interested in going back to the United States. I said, but a principle is involved. Human beings deserve to be treated decently wherever they are, wherever they drop their buckets, even places where they're just visiting briefly. I said, I'm sorry, I will not apply for a new date. So he sighed and said he was very sorry, but that meant that my visa would be revoked. I said, by all means, I'd be willing to receive the letter of revocation.
No official reason has been given for Soyinka's visa revocation, but he suspects politics is at play. While he joked about 2 trivial past offenses in the US and declared chilies in his pocket at an airport in the 1980s and a 1970s dispute over racism, he dismissed them as irrelevant. Instead, he believes the vague new information cited by US authorities is merely an excuse to punish him for his outspoken criticism of Donald Trump, as he explained in his own words here.
That I refer to him as the white version of Idi Amin. Now, dictators are very difficult to please. I would have thought that he was pleased. Idi Amin was a man of international stature, a statesman, a first-class Democrat, He was also, he called himself the King of Scotland. He called himself a liberator. He said, in fact, he was going to liberate Scotland from the grip of the British. In other words, we should look at Idi Amin as along the line of historic liberators. He was liberating everybody everywhere. Some of them, he even liberated their lives from them, and sent them to places of no return. So when I called Donald Trump Idi Amin, I thought I was paying him a compliment. So why now, if they had contacted me, I would have said, look, I'll look for a new title for you. Maybe give you a more contemporary emperor, like Emperor Bokassa. But I thought that Idi Amin was sufficiently universal. And the man had said, Donald Trump, he was going to rule like a dictator. He's been behaving like a dictator. He should be proud to be acknowledged, a dictator, first class. Somebody whom, as I said, even launched the era of Heraclitus in the United States by making permanent resident cards non-permanent, showing that no condition is permanent. So I thought I would let all of you know the possible catalogue of my crimes. Only one conviction, which I signed guilty at the airport for carrying a few papers. Otherwise, I don't know what else I could have done. But maybe I've also written plays about Idi Amin. Maybe it's about time I also write a play about Donald Trump. When he hears that I'm paying him the same literary compliment as I paid Idi Amin, maybe we'll reconsider and return my visa.
This crackdown is officially wrapped in the language of national security. In June, Trump issued a proclamation ordering U.S. immigration authorities to tighten visa procedures and revoke entry from individuals deemed to have hostile attitudes toward American citizens, culture, or institutions. On paper, that sounds patriotic. But what exactly counts as a hostile attitude? Is it dissent? Is it the courage to speak the truth? Or simply the refusal to bow before power? Human rights advocates argue that the vagueness of such language gives Trump's government a free hand to push critics under the guise of protecting America's founding principles. Yet, isn't free speech itself one of those very principles? For Soyinka, the irony is both bitter and poetic. A nation that once celebrated him for his literary brilliance and advocacy of human rights now treats him as a threat. To understand the full weight of this episode, one must remember who Wole Soyinka is. Born in 1934 in Abeokuta, Nigeria, he has been one of Africa's loudest and most eloquent voices for justice. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1986, becoming the first African to do so. His plays, essays, and novels, works like Death and the King's Horseman, The Man Died, and Chronicles from the Land of the Happiest People on Earth, have dissected corruption, tyranny, and the human condition with unmatched intellect and wit. His courage once landed him in solitary confinement during Nigeria's civil war, but it never silenced him. If anything, it shaped his pen. And now, even in his 90s, that same pen is still too sharp for certain world leaders to tolerate. What makes this entire saga so intriguing is not just the politics, it is the symbolism. Here is a man who once tore up his green card to protest Trump's politics, only to have his visa torn up years later by the same man. As this controversy ripples across the world, many are asking whether the United States, once seen as a haven for free thinkers, is slowly becoming a fortress of fragile egos. If Nobel laureates can be silenced with visa cancellations, what chance do ordinary dissenters have? Wole Soyinka, however, seems unbothered. In his calm, defiant tone, he told reporters that America can keep its visa. His passport, after all, still carries the spirit of Africa. And perhaps that is the deeper message here, that dignity is not issued by any embassy, nor can it be revoked by any government. In the end, Soyinka's stand reminds us of something profoundly Pan-African, that no matter how powerful the empire, the African voice will not be silenced. Your perspective matters. What do you make of Wole Soyinka's visa being revoked? Share your thoughts and insights in the comment section below. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the New Africa channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our informative future videos. Stay informed, stay engaged, and thank you for watching.